Hello and welcome to the webinar number 4 of our ADAS trading marathon. Welcome everyone. And first of all, before we're going to get started, let's make a quick tech check. Can you hear me correctly? And can you see my screen and the camera? And if you can you please put the plus in the chat just to make sure that everything is working fine and we are ready to dive into today's topic. So if you can hear me and see me as well as my screen, can you please put the plus in the chat so I know that we can get started. Perfect, fantastic. Thank you so much for the feedback in the chat, and please feel free to drop in the chat where you're following our today's webinar from. And I'm excited to get to know every single one of you better. We have an amazing community in ADAS platform from all around the world, amazing traders from every country, different cities. So I'm excited to get to know you better. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Anastasia, and I fired off my first live order when I was an 18-year-old with more adrenaline than experience, of course. And like many of you, I've learned the really hard way that the markets do not hand out the participation trophies. So since then, I've logged thousands of hours watching footprints, order flow spikes, and those gut-wrenching market volatility. And every blown stop and every hard-earned win really pushed me towards one simple truth. Price only moves when real money changes hands. So the market is the auction, and tape, order flow, and volumes never lie. So today my age, as you probably can guess, is the volume first playbook built on that real truth that I've got to know years ago. There are no secret indicators, no mystical signals, and absolutely no crystal balls. It's only practice, hard truth scenarios, backtesting, which we are going to be talking today. And this is essentially the focus of our today's webinar. So if you've ever felt like a rush of a perfect, trade or a FOMO, like when you watch the levels snap right before you hesitated, you didn't enter the trade and the price immediately went to your profit, or you entered and the price immediately went to stop loss, and you're still trying to find the answer why you are in the right place. So let's dig in and trade the why behind every chart and not the what, because a lot of traders answer a question what and how, and not many ask the question why the price is moving, why is the auction working in this way and not the other way, and who is trading right now in the markets, big market participants or the retail traders like you and me. So this specific webinar, we are going to be focusing on one of the most important aspects for every single trader, in my personal belief, of course, and this is a backtesting as well as a practical scenario execution. So how to build your trading scenario for a day, for a week, and how to backtest your strategy to prove if it's your edge in the market is in the first place profitable, right? A lot of people don't spend time on the backtesting and they feel like it's a waste of time. They feel like it's boring and not as exciting as pressing buy or sell buttons. But I can tell you from my own experience throughout the years that backtesting was the thing that got me from a losing trader, like absolutely being wrecked as a trader, to actually getting my edge and getting my breakthroughs. So today we're going to be talking about the ADAS replay. We will be talking about how to properly build your daily and weekly trading scenarios. I'm going to be sharing my personal tips and tricks on how I do it myself. And instead of being biased to one specific scenario in the market, we're going to learn how to see the full picture and be prepared for many things that the market can do. And the market can be unexpected, as we all know it very well. So also, if you stick till the end, I will point you towards some downloadable resources that I prepared for you, including their file for their template that we will be using throughout the replay practice today. Okay, so these resources are going to be completely free to download, and they are meant to enhance your learning throughout the ADAS platform. And again, I want to emphasize this. This session is interactive. So I really, really, truly encourage you to participate. Feel free to answer my questions in the chat and make notes of any question that you want to ask me, because in the end of our today's webinar, we're going to have the dedicated time for the Q&A. So if you have any question that perhaps I wasn't able to answer throughout the live stream, feel free to drop them all the way in the end once again, and I'm going to be more than happy to help you with any of those. And as an example of interaction, let me see, where are you beautiful traders from? I see Ukraine is here. Okay, I don't see any more countries, so please drop the countries in the chat. Where are you beautiful people following today's stream from? Вітаю, доброго дня, дуже рада бачити. Welcome everyone, good to see you. Excited to see every single one of you. Excited and happy to have you here. Turkey, Hungary, Laos is here. Welcome. India, US is with us as well. Sri Lanka, Spain. So many beautiful countries, so many beautiful people. Romania, Ireland, UK, Ukraine. Доброго дня, Дмитрий. UK, Poland. Witam, dzień dobry. Let's go. Dubai. Amazing. Fantastic. So let me start it up with a question to you. So how many of you already had incorporated, daily and weekly trading scenarios in your preparation? So do you plan ahead your daily scenario and the weekly scenario? Or do you react to what the market does in the moment? Because those are two completely different approaches, okay? So if you do incorporate the weekly and daily trading scenarios, type yes in the chat. And if you prefer to react to what the market is doing in the moment and then make your decision, put a no in the chat, please. So we can see how many people are already practicing this and foresee how many people this is going to be something new. Both actually, okay. React so far daily, okay. Also no, okay, so preferable reaction, weekly and daily preparation, weekly. Great, keep these responses coming. So don't worry if you are completely new to the scenario planning. Yes, amazing, because that's exactly what we're going to be exploring today, right? And if you are a trader who prefers to react to what the market is doing, you might pick up some new techniques to refine your approach and perhaps start planning ahead. And if you're already the trader who does the weekly and daily preparation, I hope that I can uncover some more tips and tricks for yourself that you will also be implementing in your own trading practices. Okay, so with that roadmap set, let's jump into our first topic. And what is, in the first place, building a trading scenario? Because a lot of people have the mistaken image of building trading scenario. So what is it and what is it not, right? Let's start with the simple things. So in simple terms, it's a game plan for various ways that the market could behave and how you as a trader will respond. It is absolutely not about trying to predict the exact move that the market is going to do. And it's more about being prepared to whatever happens, right? And instead of saying, I think that market can go this direction today, a scenario-based trader will say, if the market goes up, I will do X. If the market goes down, I will do Y. If it chops sideways, I have a plan for that too. So for example, for myself, if the market chops, I am staying away unless I get the confirmation that the market is likely to start moving, right? So no matter what the market does, this way you know exactly what you have to do as a trader. So let's contrast this with a typical forecasting approach. What is the difference between the forecasting and planning the trading scenario? Many traders really fall into the trap of trying to guess the market's next move with absolute certainty. You wouldn't believe how many times I've seen throughout my live streams and trading career people who say the market is going to do this, the gold is going to go there, oil futures are going to drop today. So we've all been there, right? But as the certainty goes, hope, like as the saying goes, hope is not the strategy, right? And the certainty in the market can only be theoretical. So even the best analysis will not be right 100% of the time. So scenario planning is essentially smarter alternative. So what you do is that you acknowledge upfront that the market can do anything, absolutely anything, and you prepare a set of responses for you as a trader. So this mental shift, okay, from predicting to planning can drastically improve your trading results. So you are no longer stressed about being right or being wrong about the market. So instead, you focus on executing your plan for each scenario. The key idea here is it's not about what market does, it's about what I do as a trader. So we cannot control, or we can also not know for sure what the market will do next, right? Whichever market it is, crypto, stock index futures, currency futures, whatever it is, we do not know. So, but we can control how we act when the market hits our key levels or key triggers. So we plan for various outcomes ahead of time. If the market does X, Y, Z, we will respond with A, B, or C scenarios. Okay? So we have a plan for when the things are clear, but when also things are unclear. For instance, the rule that can say, if I'm unsure, I'm going to stay out until the picture becomes clearer. Okay? So this way, we always have clarity on our actions, even if the market is completely uncertain. Right? So this is what scenario building is all about. Now, to build a daily trading scenario, pre-market preparation is absolutely crucial. So a trading day actually begins before the market opens and before you execute the first trade of the day, right? A lot of traders actually think that their trading starts when they enter the first trade of the day. And they say, okay, if I'm not entering the trade, my trading day actually hasn't started yet. Well, that's not true, because even not entering the trade sometimes can be the part of your preparation process, right? Because you've prepared to not enter the trade. You've prepared to react in this way to the market uncertainty. So I've prepared for you a pre-market checklist. Let's go through this. And this is essentially what you might want to do in the time before the market session, right? So 30 or 60 minutes is more than enough. Ali, I wouldn't agree with you, because you as a trader will always lose some money. You want it or you don't want it, there will be losses, always, right? There always will be some losses sometimes. And the difference between the profitable trader and successful trader from unprofitable trader is how do you handle those losses? Do you let your losses run and do you cut your profit short? Or do you cut your losses short and do you let your profits run? As well as, do you manage your risks correctly? Are you able to stick with your risk management rules or not? All of those things and the mental aspect of handling losses is going to be crucial. And scenario planning has a big place in this as well, a big role, because if you're prepared for any outcome from the market, you automatically accept that you have multiple scenarios, and attention, some of those scenarios may be wrong. Some of those scenarios may not work out. Some will not. And this is a difference from a mentality when you have a one-sided, straight approach. You are locked in on this specific move that the market, you're expecting the market to do. And if the market does something else, you feel lost. We feel emotional. We feel like we are wrong. We take it personal. Our ego starts playing out. The FOMO kicks in, and all this range of emotions causes the future losses. So, the checklist, shall we? First things first, within the checklist, it's checking your trading system. And by checking your trading system, I mean very simple things, but crucial, and some traders forget about it. Make sure that your software, your computer, your internet connection, everything is working properly, your data feed, right? Nothing is worse than having a plan and then missing a trade or losing the trade or blowing the account because of technical issues. So double check your data feeds, your broker connections, your platform connections, your internet before the action begins. Sometimes traders feel so stubborn that, okay, I have problems with internet connection, but I'm still gonna trade because I see the situation in the market and I do not want to miss it. Well, you might have to pay afterwards for that. So if the market if the connection or some technical issues appear, and we all have them sometimes, trust me, I'm horrible with technical aspects. I can't stand technical problems, but I've learned the hard way. Do not push through the technical issues to still execute the trades. Fix the base first. Make sure that your trading can run smoothly, and you can focus on most important things, which is making quality decisions. Secondly, analyze overnight market activity. So you can look what happened, for example, since the previous trading session closed. For futures like, for example, mini S&P 500, Euro futures, gold futures, right? Remember that they trade nearly 24 hours. So ask yourself the question, did, for example, anything significant happen overnight? Any news or economical data came out, for example, Trump, tariffs perhaps, or anything else? Because this is going to give you the context for the upcoming trading session. So, for example, if you trade, let's say, a mini S&P 500, and overnight the market already moved strongly, for example, up on the news, that this might influence your scenario. So perhaps the bullish move already happened, or maybe it sets up for the continuation, for example, or reversal trade. Or you can analyze that the market is consolidating now as a response to the high volatility, and it's better to stay away until the further notice from the market. So analyzing the past market activity will be also crucial in your decision making. Next one, identifying the key levels and, of course, opportunities as well. So marking out the important support and resistance levels on your chart before the market open. It could be the yesterday's high and low, overnight high and low, major volume zones, for example. For me, what I do is I always highlight the major volume zones, the monthly, contract, weekly, and daily points of control, the value area high and low from the yesterday's session, from today's session, and from the contract as well. ATAS allows us to do all of this, and high and low from the previous day. So if you implement this, it will allow you to understand the context, the market bias, and perhaps can help you to clearly see the bigger picture. And then after you mark those up, you can forecast a new scenarios for yourself, favorable scenarios for the day. So this means literally writing down like something like scenario A. If the price breaks above resistance or above this volume zone and holds, I'm gonna do this. Scenario B, if instead the price rejects the volume zone and falls to another volume zone as a support, I will do this. And it can be also scenario C, for example, that if the price stays between this and this volume zone, consolidating, I'm going to stay out of the market. Okay, so you essentially, what you do is you calibrate your strategy based on the key levels and zones in the market, and you select a few trading scenarios based on what has already been happening before and what the current market bias trend situation is. Okay, so you will be able like this to capitalize on opportunities that emerge during this trading session because you've already analyzed the previous one. Now, what I really want you to notice is that the preparation is not, again, it's just not just like the market will go up today or I am bearish today. It's conditional. Okay, so if A happens, then I do B. If C happens, then I will do D. So this is what I want you to make a note. The preparation of the market is conditional, and it depends on the market conditions. It depends on what the market will do. Okay, so this is how I personally trade. I have conditions to what the market is going to do, how I'm going to react. If this, then this, if this, then that. Okay, it's essentially like planning your day. I mean, if it rains, you take a car or you take a umbrella, right? If it's sunny, you walk, you take a coffee outside. So in trading, for example, I will sell this futures contract, whatever it may be. If a negative delta appears on the high volume node that the price is rejecting right now, there are no volumes below, everything is above, and the price shows weakness, as well as the volume profile and the footprint shows weakness for me, right? As an example. We're going to have a look at the scenarios in the replay later. So, quick question, because I've been talking a lot as a monologue. So, quick question for you. Do you right now write down your scenarios each day? Like, do you write down, I don't care, on the chart or on the notepad, scenarios for this specific trading day? If you do, can you please type plan in the chat? And if you don't, just please type no. I'm gonna start and I'm gonna do plan, just like this. So I do this. I do like a plan. And if I don't like anything, then I'm just leaving this specific asset without any analysis because I don't like how it moves. Also can happen, right? Okay, we have some answers. Plan, yes, plan, amazing. No, okay, don't worry. If you haven't been doing this yet, now it's a great time to start this specific webinar that we are doing. So even a few bullet points, honestly, for each morning about your scenarios can really enforce your discipline and like reduce drastically your emotional trading. That's a great moment to start, Dmitry. Great. Fantastic. Rodrigo, regarding the market conditions, everything that I have just brought up, like for example, the state of the market, we were talking previously in the previous webinars about the AMD model, right? So accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. We were talking about the volume zones. Are the volumes high or low? What did the price do yesterday? Was there high volatility or the low volatility? Was it a trend? Was it consolidation? On multiple time frames throughout their higher time frame and lower time frame, do they collide or do they have the divergence between themselves? Market state can be, for example, market conditions can be the fundamental analysis as well. So is there anything from the macroeconomical perspective happening that can influence your trading? There can be many things. If you pay attention throughout this webinar, I actually cover them a lot. Okay. So thank you so much for your answers. If you already have this scenario, and if you don't worry, perhaps you will have after today's webinar. After you already have the scenarios and the plan, during the live market session, your job is essentially to execute the plan. And this involves watching price action that confirms one of your scenarios. I watch the range XV charts and I watch the 5-minute candlesticks behavior, as well as the 30-minute and 1-hour candle closure to confirm where is the price regarding the volume. So comparing to the volume, right? You can watch something else. Now, when scenario triggers, entering the trade according to your strategy or the trading method is also within your plan, right? So with a proper stop loss placement, market limit order, target placement, and so on and so on. So this is also the part of your preparation and the part of your plan, not just YOLOing it when the price is already running, right? And you're already in the trade and you're like, oh my God, where should I place a stop loss? Now, this should be already pre-prepared for you as a trader. Now, the next thing is managing the position, of course. So you already pre-decided where you place a stop loss, where you take profit, etc. for each scenario. So you follow your plan. And how do you manage your position? Do you, for example, trail your stop loss? Do you, for example, add to your running wings? Do you cut your running losses? What do you do? Those questions also really play a big role in your market, in your trading, because emotional trading in a big part comes from not having the answers to many questions. Like, for example, what do I do with a trailing stop loss? If I trail it, then how do I trail it? Do I trail it only to break even? Do I trail it in profit? Do I trail it mathematically? Do I trail it based on the volumes and order flow? Do I trail it based on VWAP? How do I trail it and why? And do I trail it in the first place? If I add to my running position, do I or do I not in the first place? If I do, how do I do it? Mathematically, every 10 points, 5 points. How much do I add? Do I add 100%, 50%, 20% of the running trade, for example? How do I manage my risk if I add the volume to the running position? So all of those questions should be answered before you enter the trade. So once you're in the trade, your mind can focus on the most important thing is executing the plan, not thinking about all of this hundreds of things. Okay? And after each session, so post-market, you can review what happened. So which scenarios played out? Did you follow your plan? Which scenarios didn't play out? If something unexpected happened, for example, how might you incorporate into future scenario planning? And this post-market analysis that you do, like, for example, logging trades, noting mistakes, missed opportunities. If someone is going to be promoting the Discord in our comments, I'm going to ban you. So this is a straightforward answer to the question about the link for Discord, because we do not recommend any education right here besides the educational platform of others, right? And educational content of others. So if someone is going to be promoting any links, they're going to be banned. Just a quick heads up and the disclaimer. Now, after you already logged your trades, note mistakes, missed opportunities, good trades, you take your conclusions, you essentially close your feedback loop and make your next day's planning even stronger. So you take conclusions from this day and you use it in your next trading day. Okay? So as we talked about daily scenario planning, now please make a screenshot of this, because this is during the live market session what you do and after the market session. So let's quickly go through this again before we're going to transition into the weekly scenario planning. During the live session, you watch out for the signal and price action, therefore confirming your scenarios. You enter the trade according to your strategy, to your trading method, and to your rules when the scenario triggers. So when the price comes into your zone, for example, or the price does what you wanted it to do. And thirdly, you manage the positions based on your pre-decided scenario. After the session, post-market, you review trades and your own performance. So you see which scenarios played out. Did you follow your plan? Which scenarios didn't play out and why? If something unexpected happened, you log it. Once you log it, you analyze it. You see what can you take out from this specific information, right? So thank you so much. Yes, we have one Discord, and this is a Discord of others. The link is in the chat. Please feel free to join this. So this is an only legit link to the Discord on our webinars. So after you already reviewed your performance, right, you log it and you see what are the repeatable scenarios. Do you keep losing the money, for example, in the same way day after day? Or do you, for example, have the winning scenarios that repeat themselves? So in this way, you can optimize your trading system. You can optimize your next day planning. Okay, so please take screenshot of that and of the previous checklist, and we're gonna transition into the checklist for the weekly scenario planning. So we talked about the daily checklist, we talked about the daily execution. What do we do with the weekly trading? So for swing traders, but also for even intraday tradings, it really helps to step back through the weekend and outlines the weekly bigger picture. So in a scope, this is more macro. Okay, so for example, checking the economical calendar, and I always plan my trade, my plan ahead for the week, for example. So are there any major news releases coming? Are there any things that can cause big moves in futures that I trade? And I can plan my scenarios around those things. So for example, if I have the first Friday of the month and I have the NFP coming, maybe I'm going to stay away during this day. So I personally don't trade on NFP days. And in general, I do not like trading in the second half of Friday by default. So for example, if I have the CPI numbers released, I know that I shouldn't be trading until the CPI will be released unless I trade news, right? Maybe you are a news trader. And then of course, you trade during news and you are analyze the previous data that came out, the previous statistics, and you try to analyze the possible future numbers, right? So beside the economic calendar, I check the high timeframes, zones, and levels. So I look at the weekly and daily chart to mark up my important volume zones. Now, this thing I do only throughout the weekend. So throughout the weekend, I see, make a note on this, please. So what I see is that how did the price close compared to the weekly big volumes, weekly, like monthly contract points of control and high volume nodes and value areas. So I see the weekly candle and I see, did it close above the volume, below the volume, or at the volume? If it closed above the volume, which it couldn't, for example, break for a long time, I'm going to be mainly prioritizing longs for the upcoming trading week. If it closed below the volume, which it couldn't break for a long time, I will know that I will prioritize shorts for the upcoming week. Prioritizing still doesn't mean I'm biased on short and I still build my scenarios, but I have the outline of what is likelier to happen from right? So this is what I do, and this is what can help you as well when the weekend comes. Try to analyze where did the weekly candle close in regards of the previous big volume zone, weekly, monthly, and contract volume. ADAS has all the tools that you need to analyze volume profiles and TPOs. You even have from the previous webinars the downloadable workspace where the instruments of the volume are already added to your chart. So if you go to the previous webinars of this specific marathon, you can download them and the volume indicators will already be there. The only thing that you need to do is you need to change the time frame, so on the weekly, and see how the volume has and the price has developed. And the last thing, you change the trend or the range context. So you determine if the market has been trading or ranging in the recent weeks. So, and you formulate scenarios like, for example, the continuation of the trend versus trend reversal or range holding, right? And I'm not trading. So you have many different options, and depending on your own trading system, of course, what your trading system allows you to do. So for example, if the price of mini S&P 500 has been stuck at the all-time highs for a while, then your weekly scenarios might be that the range continues, and either you play within the range and you find the trading tool, like trading method for yourself that works within the range, or you will stay away and wait until the range is going to be broken, and you buy above the range, you sell above the value area of the range. So you build your scenario around the trend or range context as well. Why do we need the weekly scenario planning? Because by planning at the weekly level, what you do is you ensure that your daily scenarios fit into the bigger picture. That's the same answer as I give, for example, scalpers when they ask myself, Why do I need, if I'm a scalper, why should I look at the 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4-hour charts? You might not look into this if you don't want, but for me personally, if I only look at the range XV charts or 5-minute time frame charts, I do not see the bigger picture. So I don't know if my ID now fits in the bigger narrative, in the bigger bias, if it is within the bigger market context. So you can compare it to having a roadmap for the week, which will refine every single day of your trades, every single day of your trading with a recent information. Okay, so you get the recent information from the market, you combine it within one picture. And pro tip, please don't overwhelm yourself with too many scenarios. Like just focus on 2-3 main scenarios. I maximum have 3 scenarios for an asset, and that's it. That's tops. That's more than enough, because there is always a wild amount of possibilities possible. You get me? But your goal is essentially to cover the most likely ones with a very clear criteria for yourself to enter the trade. So this keeps you prepared but not paralyzed. Remember, prepared but not paralyzed with planning scenarios. So it's about improving focus and eliminating guesswork. It's not about trying to predict every single move that the market can make. So don't fall into this trap when you are planning the week or your trading day. So if you plan your scenarios accordingly and correctly, you will simply observe which one is unfolding in the market and you will act as you planned. That's it. That's as simple as it gets. So does this approach to planning make sense to you? Can you let me know in the chat if we are on the same page, please? If it does, can you please put a plus in the chat? And for example, you can also feel free to share one of your ideas how to manage it. If you don't agree, if you have another view on it, another perspective, or you've been practicing other ways of planning your trades which worked for you, please share with us them in the chat. And I'm going to be more than happy, because we are always students of the market. We always keep learning, and me as well. Market never stops teaching, and we never stop learning, right? We have some pluses. Thank you so much. Yeah, if it makes sense for you what we covered today, please feel free to put the plus in the chat. Feel free to put the plus in the chat. You can get some water while you keep the answers coming. Nothing worked. I hope it does now, Ali. I hope it does now. And if something is, if something is still missing or you feel confused, please feel free to ask questions. We are going to have a special webinar in this series dedicated to the Q&A. So the last webinar of the series will be the Q&A. So the best thing you will be able to do before that is to go through the whole webinars series of the first marathon and the second one, get the list of questions, and come next week for the Q&A prepared. We still are going to have another webinar this week, and the next week we are going to have the Q&A special, the whole hour only for your questions and answers, to answer all of the questions that you might have and help you as much as we can. Fantastic, Timo. This is a great way. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing it. Timo is saying that he's creating the extensive plan trade plan, and you labels now as A+, B+, and C+ scenarios. So the quality of the potential setup. I love it. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think this is a great idea. So I totally agree with you. I'm on the same page. Okay. Fantastic. Ravi, we are going to make a note on this, okay? But please, if you have any questions about the trading psychology, you will always be able to bring them next week. So please feel free to ask any questions this next week related to technical aspects, ARAS, but also strategy, but also trading psychology. Awesome. Now, as we understand what weekly scenarios and daily scenario planning is and how do we do this, right, approximately, let's move to a very powerful way to practice those scenarios risk-free. The ADAS replay mode. So this is where the bridge, this is where lies the bridge between the planning and the real-time execution by using the backtesting. Now, we covered a lot by the theory already, and it's it's about putting it into the action. So I will show you how to use the replay on the ADAS platform and how you can backtest any of your trading system on any of the assets. So we're going to have the walkthrough. But first things first, can I ask you one more question before I'm going to transition and share my screen? Can you please type yes in the chat if you already used the ADAS replay tool, or no if this is going to be the first time that you will have a look at that. So please type yes in the chat if you've already used the ADAS replay tool before, and no if this is going to be your first time looking into it. Okay. No. Amazing. Look at this. It's going to be the new information. Work slow, Timo. I hope I'm going to be able to help you with that, because it depends on several factors. So let me just switch my screen while you keep the responses coming. There we go. Fantastic. No? Yes, now that works. Perfect. Perfectly works. Now, first things first, when you open your ADAS platform, how do you access the replay? You need to open the chart of any asset that you would like to test. So let's open the chart of gold, for example. So I'm clicking on the GC contract. I'm going to open it full screen. And now here you can add all indicators and tools that you use for your specific trading system. So you can use anything that we've covered in the first marathon or the second marathon, or all of it combined. Remember that the workspaces and the templates you have already available to download in the previous webinars. And also this specific template that I'm using right now and I'm loading, you will also be able to download in the description of this video after the webinar is finished. So once again, after the webinar is finished, you can give us 30 minutes and download this specific template in the description. So what I'm going to be doing, what I did, once again, if I open the chart and I edit all the instruments that I'm going to be using for our example backtesting. So I chose the ready to make template. So I already prepared it before, so we don't spend time adding the instruments. I'm going to delete the volume profile tool from the left side of my screen. And now when you have your chart ready like this, right, you go to the main ADAS window, you return here, and now it's the time to open the replay tool. Your replay tool is located right here where you have all the watch list positions, right, management. Right here is a replay button in the home tab. So you go to home, you go to replay. You click on the replay. Let's turn it off. And when you put on the replay for the first time, your button right here will be switched off to the red color. So you click on it and you wait until the button turns green. I clicked on it twice by accident. And now what you want to do, and let me open it full screen. What you want to do is, the first things first, you want to select the market data type. Now, this is a very important choice, and it depends on the strategies that you trade. If you are essentially looking more for the price action, technical trading patterns, right, and you are not using the in-depth DOB information, this is more than enough for you. This is the fastest way to get started, and this is something that takes the least amount of time and processing to load. So if for you the replay mode is heavy, this might be because you are not choosing the correct market data type. Okay, so the heavier, the lower you go, the heavier data is going to load, the more in-depth data from the order flow is going to load and the depth of market and the tape. Hence why it's going to take more time to load and it's going to get slower. If you choose the top option, you use, for example, volumes, you use basic price action, technical analysis, and the basic order flow, like, for example, the asset that we have on the chart. This is more than enough. So for the purpose of today's example, I'm going to be using the first one. Now, the second one is for the ticks and generated best prices. So, oops, one moment. For some reason, my screen disconnected. Let's do this again. There we go. So the second option will be if you already need, right, the ticks more in-depth data for your strategy level 2. And the third one, if you trade the smart tape, the depth of market, and you need the full information. What is happening to my stream today? You need the full information about the total, right, amount of asks and bid distribution and all the orders, including the limit, using the limit orders in the depths of market. If you are not using the limit orders in the depths of market, you can still choose the first and the second option. So for the purpose of today's example, we're going to choose the first option. Next, you select the date from which you want to backtest. And once again, the more data you load, the heavier it will be. So the more time it's going to take to process. What I'm going to do, I'm going to select the 1st of July to make sure that it's not too much data and it's not too heavy and it's loading quite quickly for our webinar. But the proper amount of data to select as a good sample is at least 6 months of time. Okay, at least 3 months, better 6 months, and the best is 12 months. It doesn't mean that you need to backtest it all at once. You can select it month by month, for example, and it's going to be easier on your computer. So I select from the first one to the current data, and then I click on the instruments and the exchange that I want to test. And then once I do this, I'm going to minimize the window. And once I clicked on this, selected the time and selected the market data type, I click on play. So it's going to load. We're going to wait a little bit until it's loading the data. I'm going to stop it for a second and go back to my chart and put the replay right here as well. So, one moment, sorry for that. So put the replay on that. So as we can see here, right, the market loaded from the 1st of July 2025. So this is the 1st of July 2025. This is our replay. I can control the speed, and I essentially have all the tools that I need for analyzing my chart. So it's exactly the same as you would be trading live, but you're not trading live, you are trading and backtesting your trading system. This is one of my favorite tools in Atas platform. And if you're not familiar with it yet, think about it as a trading simulator or a time machine, for example, for the markets, because it allows you to replay the historical market and act as you were trading the real market without risking any money. So in other words, you can go back to the past, say, for example, the 1st of July, as we are doing, and experience it again. So see every single price movement, seeing how the volume gets developed, how the order flow gets formed, and practice trading in a real-time simulation, okay? So why using market replay for this? Because it's one of the best ways to build skills and confidence without risking money. Now, it lets you practice your chart reading skills and your strategy and proving that the strategy is profitable before you are going to put your money on the broker's deposit and risk it and try to win it, okay? So you analyze your mistakes, you analyze your trades, but you also create the statistics of your specific trading system. You know what to expect from the trading system when you start trading live market. So essentially, it grows and speeds up your learning curve. I'm going to tell you what I tell usually to all the people. You can spend 6 months of practicing. So you can spend 6 next months of trading live. And during this trading, you're going to spend how many hours per chart? 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 if you are really dedicated. let's say you spend 5 hours per day, okay, over the next 6 months. In a month, it's approximately 20 trading days. So let me calculate this. It's 20 days per 5 hours per day. It's 100 hours. It's 100 hours per month. Multiplied by 6, it's 600 hours of experience that you are going to get in 6 months from now if you spend every single working day 5 hours on the chart. 600 hours. Now, the market is opened 23 hours per day. So that is 460 hours per month. And that is 2,760 hours per 6 months, which means you are not even going to see 1/3 of what happened in the market in 6 months. You are not going to be aware of what are your best trading times, what are your worst trading times, when is the biggest volatility in the market, like what is the average duration of your profitable trade, how do you manage your position. You are not getting the full experience even if you spend the next 6 months of the charts 5 hours per day. This tool, ATAS replay and backtesting through ATAS replay, allows you to get the full 2,706 hours of experience in 2 weeks of time, 3 weeks of time, a month. So in 1 month, you can get 6 months of experience in trading. In 3 months, you can get years of experience in trading. Do we have traders here who've been trading less than 6 months? If you are here, please let me know in the chat. If you've been trading for less than 6 months, let me know in the chat, please. Because yes, exactly. Fantastic. Usman, thank you so much for sharing. Because if you've been trading for less than 6 hours, Vadim, thank you so much for sharing. This is going to speed up your learning, because either you're going to spend the next years live trading and making the mistakes and then breaking apologies and then breaking down your mistakes in the real life market, or you are going to backtest this, get the data and get ready for the market already. Get ready for the market already, prepared once you know your stats. So replay on ATAS and backtesting is absolutely crucial for your success. It's a time saver like nothing else. Let me show you how it works. So you click the play button and it keeps kicking me out for some reason. So you essentially click the play button. I'm going to put the screen on again. Thank you. There we go. And it's going to load the playback, and you can choose the speed with how fast the price has been formed. So it's going to go from the short, the small, like for example, 2x, you can bring it like faster, for example, 150x. So you can see that the price is going to go faster, or you can bring it slower and you will see that the price is going to move slower. So you can adjust it to your specific preference, like this, for example. So how fast do you need to make your decisions? You can test your strategy, like for example, okay, here is a high volume node. Here is a daily point of control. If the price returns to the zone, I'm going to be looking for a buy. So right here, if the price returns here, I'm going to be looking for a buy. I'm already building my scenario. So if the price comes here, I'm going to be looking for a buy, and I can put this trade in my playbook and see how did it play out. Was it profitable? Was it not profitable? What can I change? What can I use as a rule for my trading, methods to enhance my trading methods in the future? So this is something that replicates the real trading, but in a simulated environment, without losing time, without losing money, and building your emotional edge. Because let me tell you another thing. If you know your stats of the trading system and you've practiced this, you're going to be more resilient emotionally. Okay, you're going to be more resilient emotionally when it comes to your trading. So it's going to be easier for you emotionally to stay calm in different market scenarios, different market environments, than if you would be trading live without prior testing this and without knowing your stats. You will be able to easier handle losses because you will know that losses are the part of your strategy, and it's going to be sometimes happening, right? And it's going to be okay because in the end of the month, in the end of 3 months, you're going to be still profitable. So it's easier to handle emotional aspects of trading as well if you are pre-prepared to what is likelier to happen. So the first option for you is for basics like strategies, right, that you choose. The second, the back test and the new strategies that you get. The second option is, for example, optimizing the strategies that you already have. Let me give you an example. You've been trading one strategy for quite a while, and then suddenly you can see that your strategy stopped performing the way it did before. So your current data and statistics are worse than they were in the past. What do? You traded this week, you traded this month, you open ATAS replay and you replay the same week, you replay the same months, and you see and you compare the results of backtesting to your results, actual result that you got. This will show you, was the problem in the strategy or in your execution? How can you optimize your strategy to get better results? Is there a way you can modify your strategy to the current market conditions, volatility, and liquidity? So you can also work on your existing trading strategy, not only on your new trading strategy, on your emotions, but also optimizing your existing trading strategy to the current market state. Thank you so much, Boyd. Good to see you here, by the way. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, thank you for joining. Perfect. Well, if you're just starting with ATAS, this is a great way to test it out for yourself and see what works the best. Okay? So that is how the ATAS replay works. And we talked about the building daily and weekly scenarios. We talked about how to use the ATAS replay for your back testing, right? Now, in summary, the most important for yourself is to be systematic and honest, both in your back testing results and also in your scenario execution. Right? If you're going to be honest with yourself, hardworking, and you will put all of this that we talked about today into practice, you will see the huge impact on your trading results very fast. And I promise you this. If you don't, come back on the next marathon and say, Anna, you were completely wrong. It didn't help me. I bet if you implement this and the building scenarios, you will be very, very happy. ATAS collects all your statistics as well, right? So there is a demo account that you can immediately connect, like it gets automatically connected to your ATAS platform. So you can get all the statistics, all the profitable trades, win rate, and all of this. Now, I also like to have my Excel file, for example. Now with AI, you can build many different things, Notion, Excels, that are going to help you to optimize it. So I also like to see, for example, the average duration of my trade, of my profitable trade, the average duration of my losing trade, like what are the best times for me to trade, and all of this kind of data. So I like to really go in depth with my backtest, and once I do it, not everyone likes it. I really suggest and advise to do this, but it depends. So yes, you do have stats, and yes, you might want to go even deeper than that. Thanks, Boyd. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate that. YouTube algorithm is working. Great question was what? And now with this, now let's transition into question and answers, because now you know what to do in weekly scenarios, what to not do in the weekly scenarios, how can you backtest and optimize your trading system, right? So now let's transition into the Q&A. If you have any questions, this is a time to post them in the chat, and I'm going to be more than happy to help you with all of those as much as I can, of course. Timo, thank you so much. Please let me know on the next webinar if you were able to optimize your ARAS replay. If you do not need the depth of market in depth, try to choose one of the two upper options and try to backtest the smaller period of time. You see, it kicks me out slightly. Try to backtest the smaller period of time, for example, a week or a month, instead of immediately loading 3, 4, 6 months of data. This is going to be easier for your specific for the hardware to process the backtesting. So what is asking, how do you work with lost trades in your journal? Great question. Now, I work with the lost trades in my journal in two different ways. First of all, I need the statistics. What is the average amount of losses that I'm going to have? What is the average duration of the lose streak that I might have? And how do I handle this in terms of risk management to make sure that I am not going to lose my account? So that's one way of losing it, like blow my account, right? That's one way of working with it. The second way of working with it is to be able to optimize and minimize your losses. So what I can suggest and where I can suggest to start from is you have the statistics. Now classify your winning trades and your losing trades. See what is repeatable and what is similar in all the trades or in most of the trades that are losing and in all the trades that are winning. By classifying it and seeing similarities and similarities and losses, similarities and wins, you can create for yourself an additional set of rules and filters for your trading strategy that is going to help you to minimize the losses and potentially maximize your wins. Because it's going to show you where on average you make mistakes, and it can be emotional trigger, it can be the technical aspect that you can change. It's going to bring the amount of losses down, and it's going to automatically increase the win rate. And at the same time, if you work with a profitable trades that are in the repeatable profitable scenarios, you can see the picture of what is the profitable times for you? What are the profitable setups? What is the most quality setup, the middle quality setup, and the worst quality setup? You can adjust your risks accordingly to different classifications of setups, for example. So you can really go in depth and approach it mathematically. And I would start from classifying them. Okay, the similarities. From similarities, create the rule for yourself and for your trading system, and then you can optimize it by classifying the quality of the setups. What? Please let me know if this answers your question. And if you have any more questions regarding this, I'm here to help. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate the feedback. If you have any feedback regarding today's webinar, please let us know. Again, bring it all together from today's webinar while you are still typing the questions potentially. Practical scenario execution is essentially all about creating the bridge in a gap between knowing and doing, right? Because you know what to do. We all know what to do. Unfortunately, not all of us do this, and we all been there. We know exactly what to do. We know we need to manage the risks. We know we need to backtest. We don't always do it. So backtesting and building scenarios all together is making a bridge between the gap of you know what to do and you actually do it and enhance your trading. Yes, this is very, very good. This is very good advice. Thank you so much. So there are good losses and bad losses. I agree. There's a really great quote, planned and acted accordingly, right? Or not planned and not acted accordingly. Good losses are the ones that are within your trading system. I mean, all the trading systems and statistics have losses, and it's okay. It's fine, right? We all have those. None of the strategies is 100%. The bad losses are the ones where the loss is on us, not on the trading system. Yes, amazing. This is really, really good advice. So in the end of the day, in the end of the week, you can also mark up your trades of the green or red marks, noting that did you lose it because of your trading system statistics, or did you lose it because of your own mistake? Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you for this comment. Do I always look for confirmation on the footprint when I enter the trade? I look at the footprint, yes, but order flow is not only the footprint. So for example, I also use the cumulative delta as my confirmation, which is not directly the footprint, but it is the order flow, right? What else do I use? I use, for example, the cluster search on the smaller time frames and range XY charts, as well as cluster statistics, which is not directly the footprint, but it is the order flow. So if sometimes order flow, sometimes footprint doesn't give me much information, then other tools do. So I do use the cluster statistics on ATAS, I use cluster search on ATAS, I use cumulative delta. So I work with 30 and 5-minute time frame and range XY charts combination. Throughout the weekend, it's daily, weekly. Throughout the day, it's 30 minutes, 5 minutes, and range XY charts. And great question. Thank you for asking it, because next week we are going, or next webinar, this week in 2 days, we are going to bring all of these things together. So everything we've learned throughout the first marathon of webinars and throughout this marathon of webinars, we're going to be bringing together as one trading system. So I'm going to be showing you how I approach this, how I use this, and how perhaps you can do it as well. So make sure you attend the next one. I would say start with collecting the statistics from your trading system first, and then you will know which direction to go, because this answer to the question depends on your statistics. Yes, I will do it the next webinar when we will be bringing all the trading system together. Okay, so we're going to be bringing all the knowledge that we've got from volume profiles, footprint, weave ups, order flow together in the next webinar. Thank you so much. Please send it to the support, and they will be addressing the issue. So thank you so much for noticing this and helping us to become better. We always work, ATAS team always works for traders to make things even better. Anna indicator on ATAS, yeah, right. Good comment. Okay, thank you so much for today's webinar. Thank you for being active in the chat, for your interaction, for asking questions, for being here with me today. And remember, becoming a consistent, profitable trader is a journey. It is not a day thing, from one day to another. It takes time, and it's okay, because what you did today is exactly how you will build confidence and your competitiveness in the market over time. So make sure that today you start already amplifying, right? Doing these things that we talked today on this webinar. Each scenario you practice, each mistake you learn from, you address, and you put as a set of rules for yourself, is one less you will be making with the real money on the line. So I hope you got a ton of value from today's webinar. Thank you so much, Dziękuję bardzo. Thank you so much, Salvador. Thank you so much for being here today. I really tried to make it very detailed and practical so you can truly implement these techniques. If you have any questions or clarifications, please do not hesitate to ask on the next webinar. Remember, the next one time we're going to be bringing all together the knowledge in one piece, and afterwards we're going to have the Q&A where you will be able to ask any questions about the previous all webinars together. So thank you so much. The downloadable template that I was using as an example on our platform replay will be available to download from the description of the video 30 minutes after the end of the webinar. So thank you so much for being with us today. Happy trading, and I will see you back soon.